record. And now I'm going to share my screen really quickly with you. Okay, so some of you that were here yesterday, you've seen some of these new features. I'm just going to go over them really quickly. This session is for people who are feeling pretty comfortable with Seesaw, but I want you to see how they've kind of taken it to the next level, and it's going to make our lives a little bit easier, especially with those mini lessons that we have to teach and the work that we have to produce. It's going to keep it all in one spot. So I'm going to start with this activity that I created, and I will put it in the district library. I keep forgetting that we have that, so that you can have at least the template of this, and then you can decide if this is the way you want to do it. Now, this is only one way, so remember everything that I'm showing you. If you find a better way or something that works better for you, please do that. I want you to be comfortable with this. Okay, so here is something that I would have pushed out as an activity, but instead of the student keep going back to the light bulb to finish, 6 activities in a day, this would be all of the activities are in one post. So I'm going to go into here and edit it just so that you can see each component of it. So one of the new features is that you can link anything, an image, a shape, whatever else it is. And something like this might work really great for our younger students, and you could always modify it for your older students too. So all I did was kind of take a picture of an iPad, put it on there, and then I did this with just the emoji keyboard. And to get that on your Mac, it's Control-Command-Shift. So when you're in the label feature, if you just click those 3 buttons, your emoji keyboard comes up, and then you can just insert those right in there. So if I was having to teach writing, reading, math, maybe they have art that day, a computer, Imagine Learning or Imagine Math or whatever it is, and then a read aloud. So what Seesaw allows us to do now is it allows us to link the picture to a page or an outside link. So here, all I did was go to the 3 dots. I went to shapes. I found myself a circle. I just dragged it in here. And when you do that, you can change the color of the circle. And I just changed them so that kids get really familiar with the routine of, when I see red, that means writing. When I see, orange, it means reading, so on and so forth. So if I were to click on this first link, which is their writing activity, it's going to jump the student to page 2. So page 2 could be the activity, the actual work you want them to do. It could be a video, it could be whatever else you want. So I wanted to incorporate this all together. So here, I just put some eyeballs in the word watch, especially for the EL population I work with. The visuals are going to be awesome for them. Every time they see the eyeballs, they know they're going to click to find something there. So this in particular, I linked a YouTube video about capital letters and periods. That's something that we're working on in writing. But I can also record myself in my mini lesson. So if I'm doing a mini lesson that is about capitals and periods, I can record myself. I'm going to delete this so I could show you how that's done. All you do is you simply go right here to the camera and then click on the video, and then my camera will become live, and now it's me. So I can just record right in here. Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to be talking about capitals and periods. Remember, your capital's at the beginning of your sentence. The period is at the end of your sentence. When you're writing your sentences, make sure that you're using those 2 rules, and let's see what great sentences you can make. Now that's just a comment, but you could do a whole mini lesson. Seesaw allows you to record up to 5 minutes, and you really don't want your mini lesson to be a lot longer than 5 minutes. I know that's a shorter period of time, but think about these kids sitting in front of the computers, and their attention span is even less than it was when we were in school. So then you can resize it, and then I could just put my face here. So instead of the student having to go out of Seesaw to watch a video of me, then to come back, and then to complete the work, it's all on the same page. So now the student will be able to watch my mini lesson, complete their work, and then move on. So what I did for an additional visual is I put a little home button at the bottom that will link back to the first page. So here's the second thing that they would have to complete, and that would maybe be their writing activity. So on this one, I just recorded my voice over it, but I don't really care that this is here, so I'd probably delete my recording on this page, and I would either put it here in the caption where you can record your voice and have them hear you, or again, I can just use this, put a video of myself here, reading the directions to them too. This is going to be really great for especially our little ones in the ELC and probably kindergartners and even first graders if we have some non-readers.
Can I ask you something, Sophia, while you're there?
Absolutely.
So if you have a page like that and you want to record the reading there because they cannot read it, they cannot write on top of that recording. So you're saying we should put it in the comment section where we read it aloud to them and then they could write something? Oh, they can write.
New feature, you can write on top of your recording.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So they can do that, but this is what I'm annoyed with. I'm annoyed that this kind of comes and blocks the rest of the writing. So I would delete my recording and I would make myself a video here of myself, and the students still can use the recording tool on top of that. So if this was their fluency passage for the week and you wanted them to record this, they could still click on record and record, because this little recording of my face is technically a different recording. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And then same thing with here, you know, they're going to read the passage, they're going to answer their questions, they're going to move on then, and again, click on the home button, it's going to take them back again. So here's a math lesson, here's an art lesson. Now I know that they're really pushing for all specials teachers to have their own classes this year, so you may not have to push out your art activity. This could be your own art activity if you wanted it to be. It can be anything. The point of this is that this is just the template, and then you guys can modify it and change it to however you want it to look. It's just an idea of trying to keep all of the day's work in one spot. And so I think the biggest question from everybody is, well, what if they start on page 1, then they jump to page 5, then they jump to page. It doesn't matter, because that bottom corner is always going to take them back to the home spot. I have seen teachers where they've created a little box here so that the student can check off the items that they've finished. So you can also add that. That would be a great idea for students to just make sure that they're completing all their work. On the last page, on the read aloud page, I did put a green check just so that they know when they get to the final page, that's when they could submit their work. The other thing is that if your kids are working on it throughout the day and not finishing it all in one sitting, that they have the ability to use the draft button. And so that's going to have to be something that we start teaching right from day 1. Is, you know, if you don't finish work, don't click the green check, because then they have to wait for me to send it back to them to be able to edit it, or they know how to go to the 3 dots and edit. But if they click on the draft button, then at least it's going to keep it in their journal and they can still go back and access it. So that's definitely a button you're going to want to teach them to use. There is a new update that's coming out August 14th. That has the 3 buttons, and I think this is going to be called something like I'm still working on, or I'm not finished. So they're going to make it a little bit easier for students to figure out what that button is for. The green one will say I'm all done, and then the red button is for the teachers for the delete part of it. But I thought I would just give you an example of what this looks like, and now I'm going to show you how to create this all within Seesaw. So before this new feature came out, we had to create all of this stuff in Google Slides. All of the links had to be created in Google Slides, and students would be taken out of Seesaw to be able to complete all of that work. So now with this new feature, when you click on the green plus, and I'm going to pretend this is an activity because that template of the iPad and all of the circles and the pages matching those icons is here. This is what I made for you, the template master. So I wouldn't want to change this. I'd want to copy and edit. So let me show you how to do that really quick. So when I send you this link, you're going to click on the little pink heart. It's going to save it to your library. And then when you do that, once it's in your library and you're ready to start using it, you just click on copy and edit. And you can edit all of these directions here. You can add your own voice. This is the part you're going to want to keep if you like the template. And now you can change this. And the only thing I did on the template was I just put the icons in the corner so that they would match. And of course, if you're changing the icons, you're going to want to change those icons too. But you can see all of my work is gone. And this is really just a blank template for you to be able to customize however you want. I just thought it was nice to have a template to get you started if it's something that you're interested in doing. So again, I'll make sure that I put that in the district library, and I'm writing myself a note because I will forget to do that. So district library template. Okay. So let's go back to the class so I can show you how I made that all within Seesaw. So you can do any of these within Seesaw. I'm going to go to assign activity, and then I'm going to go to create my own activity. And then I'm just going to pretend this is my example. Here's all my directions. I can add voice instructions that's going to say, you know, let's start with page 1. Remember to click on the home page after you finish each page of work, whatever it could be. You can leave these directions very vague, especially if you're going to give mini lessons or instructions on each one of those pages. So then I would go to add template, and I'd start with the drawing, the drawing pad. And here is where you can start with your creations. Now, I don't know if all of you know this, but Seesaw has a Chrome extension that is amazing. So if I were to Google iPad clip art, and I get all these lovely pictures, and let's say I like this one, I can click on it and do the whole thing of downloading it and then re-uploading it, whatever else. But Seesaw has an extension where once you get it, you would go to the Chrome store. And in the Chrome store, you would just, in the search bar, you could just put in Seesaw here. And it will show you Reflect in Seesaw extension. So this is the extension, and because I already have it, it gives me the rate it, but this is what it would look like if I didn't add it. It would say add to Chrome. It would give you this little icon, and you're gonna be all set to go. Here's why I love it, because it saves me a lot of time, especially when I'm taking things from other sites or pictures, and I'm bringing them into Seesaw. So when I click on it, it's gonna ask me if I want to capture the whole screen or if I only wanna do a selected area. And so now I can just select the iPad. And what's awesome about this is it puts it right into your drawing pad. So now I didn't have to upload, re-upload, download onto my laptop or my desktop, and then re-upload here. So now it's set in place. I can, of course, extend it if I want to, whatever else, go to the 3 dots and lock it into place. So I think that's probably another one of the biggest questions that we have, is that how do you get kids from unlocking things? You can't, you really can't. But what I've done is I've really made it a digital citizenship lesson, where I say to the students, like, you know, you moving things around is almost like taking a crayon and writing on somebody else's drawing. Mrs. Smith took a lot of time to get this all pretty for you, and when you come in and you start moving things for other students or for yourself, it really is, you know, being disrespectful to the work that I've done. And it seems to work, that guilt trip that we're giving them, that, you know, don't touch my stuff and I won't touch your stuff kind of thing. There are so many things that you're going to be able to click on. We don't need to move and click on things that aren't ours. Okay, so then all I did, 3 dots, I went to shapes, and then here's the circle. And then once you're in the circle over here, you can change the color. You can go to the 3 dots and you can duplicate it. And when you duplicate it, then you can change that color. And then all I did was move the shapes around. Duplicate one more time.
Are you having senior moments, like blacking out on where you put your keys?
Whoa. All right. Then just to put in your emojis, here you go. You're going to go to the label feature, and remember it's Control Command Shift on your MacBook, and now my emoji clipboard comes up. So let's say that this is their speaking part for the day. I'm going to move this. And now I can make this in any style I want. So if I want it to be kind of a clear and just the emoji showing, I can do that. I can then make it a little bit bigger. Now here's the thing that's going to be a little confusing just when you start this. The image here, when I click on it, see how the box is inside and then the circle is on the outside. I'm going to show you what this looks like to link something in on both parts. So if I were to do it here, I go to the 3 dots. And I go to link, and then I can add a website. I'm just going to add this website, though this has really nothing to do with anything.
Sophia, do I need to do something to get that emoji thing to work, like set up some sort of label thing or something? What did you say there?
Control, Command, and Shift.
Yeah, so I just have to do that and it should pop up.
You should be able to get it, yes. Unless you've been blocked because you've been bad, Tracy. But other than that, I think that you should be able to get it. Okay, you see how I linked it, and now the link button is kind of floating in between the purple circle and the microphone. You can leave it that way if that's fine with you. What I'm seeing is that other people like to link in the outer shape. So when I do that, the link is now going to be out here. I'm gonna get rid of this one so that, oops. To get rid of a link, go back to 3 dots, go to link and hit the X. And see, now the link is outside of the circle. So it's a little bit easier to see possibly, especially if I did a background here or whatever else. So it's really up to you. You can link either thing. You can link the emoji or you can link the outer shape. It's up to you. And this could also be, you know, that taking them outside of Seesaw or something. So if today was just a video that they had to watch of a read aloud, you can link that right from here. It doesn't have to be a page over here. I like to do pages only because I like them to be accountable for every single thing they do. Especially even like Imagine Learning, which they're required to do, but we know that half of them may not be doing it. It's nice to put in a slide there and tell me one thing that you learned from Imagine Learning today. And you know, you can draw it, you can write it, you can record it, you can do whatever you want on that page. It's just keeping them accountable that they actually did that for the day. So then what I would do is, this is where I would link to a page. So I'm gonna go back to the circle shape here. I'm gonna unlink that website because I technically want this to link to a page. So I'm gonna go back here and go to link, and why am I not getting the drop down menu? Hold on, maybe because I put a URL in there, let's see. Oh, because I don't have a second page. So it's like, well, how do you want to go to a second page if you don't have a second page? Sorry guys. Been a long day. Okay, here we go. So then if I go to link, now it'll let me link to page 2 because that's the only page that's available. Then I can go to link page 3. Then when students click on this link, it would automatically take them to page 2. And then I would just copy this icon, put it in the corner of page 2 so that they know they're on the right page, and then they can complete that. Same thing with the little house. All I did was Google, you know, a home button. And then I just uploaded it into Seesaw, and then I linked that back to the first page. So it would just be something like this. And again, you can use the extension to just copy and paste that right into your document. And then I put that little home button down here in each one of the corners, and it would link back to the first page. So far, so good. Everybody's on board. Hopefully I haven't lost you. Okay, so.
Wait, I have a quick question.
Yes.
I kind of got lost at the part. I understand the home button, but
Yeah.
where do you copy the link to go back to the first page?
So you don't need to copy it because what it does is it will, give me 1 second, let me get into this one. It'll give you that same option. So every time I'm in a page, so if they've completed page 3, when they click on the home button, right here, when I click link, it's going to tell me where I have the link, and the link is back to page 1. So it's just that same drop-down menu. It's going to say, would you like to link it to page 2, 4, 5, 6, 7? You just select which page you want it to link back to, and obviously you'd want it to link back to the home page, and that's where it would go. Does that make sense?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and then on the last one, remember, you're not going to link this. This is just to let them know that they're done for the day, and then they would come up here and click the green check button. And then that would, you know, submit their work, and then you could go from there. Okay, so that's one way that is a simple way to do that. Now here are the, I don't know if you want to call them disadvantages, but here are the things that people have brought to my attention that I completely understand. If your students' work is all in one post, you cannot tag by skill because the whole post is tagged by a skill. You cannot, well, I shouldn't say that. August 14th is the new update. And what the new update will do is it will allow you to link each one of these to an activity. So if you want to keep separate activities, but you want this to be the home page, this link will now allow you to go into your activity library or find activities that other people have created and link it in. I can't show you because it's not live yet, the update, but you would get the same version of that. I think I can show you with what it looks like when teachers linked, just so that you could see what I'm talking about. So you know how like when we share with a teacher and we go to the 3 dots and I can share the activity right here, there's going to be a student share student activity that will then allow you to copy the link. And then when the student clicks on that pencil, it would take them to an outside activity that you assign them. So you still have to assign the activity to them, but instead of the kids going to the light bulb, scrolling through all the activities to find out, you know, which one is the one that you want them to do, it could be linked directly to do that. So that's the way to get around if you want to put it in separate folders, each subject, if you have separate folders, if you want them to be able to tag the skills and all that good stuff. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. When students are in activities, this is everything you might have assigned for the day. So they can just like scroll through here and pick and choose whatever it is that they want to do or didn't do. What that new update will do was it allow them to go right to this screen. So if I had a link that said all about me, it takes them right here, and then they could click add response and go right to that activity and complete it.
So cool.
Yeah, that's going to be probably the best update that everybody has been waiting and looking for. But okay, so here's the other thing. I just talked to Kelly Torres, who is the LMC person over at North School, and she is working very hard with the rest of the LMC specialists to try to figure out how to mass download all of the Common Core standards so that they are available for you. So what this looks like is, I'm going to jump out of my class. I'm going to go to Stephanie's really quick. So when Stephanie were to click on the skills view, you can see all of the first grade skills are already in here. And then she can check it out by going, you know, if she has, I don't know what your guys' standards are. Is it 1 RL? RI? Whatever it is. You can search for it by looking for the standard, RI 1.2. You can search for that. You can click on it. You can go this way. And then we have it set up right now at OP for it to be on a 4-point scale. So it would be dark green, light green, yellow, and then red. And so depending on how that piece of work was rated, she can put the skill in there. How this is helpful is that when you guys are ready to do progress reports and report cards, you can go to the skills view and you can see how many items they have in each one of their skills rated. She was using this differently for attendance, which was really smart too. If you guys don't follow this guy, his name is Chris Zager. He is like the Seesaw guru, and he comes up with these amazing ways to use Seesaw that people have not thought of. And this was one of them, that he was using the skills view to take attendance. So see how it was listed as a date, and then to see how many people or which kids had checked in for the day or had finished work. So it was a great opportunity to do that.
I'll link his attendance video thing on the chat.
Thanks. Yeah, he's great. He's got a whole YouTube channel, and anything that you don't think is possible, I swear he makes it possible. So it's a great way to do that. But that's how the skills part works. So I think they just came out with the SEL skills too. So this is great too for if you're taking a kid to SST and you want to show a specific area that maybe they're weak in, you can pull up just those pieces of work by the standard. So if they're really struggling with number sense, you could bring that up, and then they could see all of the pieces of work instead of you scrolling through the whole math journal to find what it is. One of Tracy's questions was about folders. She's not sure how they're used and how to keep people organized. And there's 2 ways to do this. You can organize it right from the get-go when you create an activity, or you can do it after the piece of work has already been done. And you can do this 2 ways. So one of the questions is, can students also pick a folder? And the way you do that is, manage folders right here. So here's the spot that you want to go to. You want to go show add to folder step. And instead of it just being teachers, you would click on the button that says students and teachers. So that means every time a student is done with a piece of work, that folders is going to show up so that they can then select which folder it would go into. If the piece of work is already completed, like if this is already done, she can go into folders here, and then she could go ahead and put it in whatever folder it was that she wanted, remote learning or whatever else. You can also create a folder. You also see that there's a speech folder. So this is what we were talking about with those resource teachers who don't want to create 27 classes for the 2 kids maybe they see in your classroom, and they still want to be a co-teacher but don't want all the notifications. When you're a co-teacher, you don't really have a choice. You're going to get the notifications. You can turn it off as much as you want. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it just depends. But if this was the speech teacher in this classroom and he wanted to see what was going on, he could come right here to the folders, and now he could just click on speech, and he's only going to be able to see the 25 items that are in the speech folder. That's what makes folders so awesome, is because now he doesn't have to go and look for, you know, just the speech items in there, that he has his own folder and can do that. And the same thing with math, whatever else she has here, you know, literacy enrichment. She can go right into this folder and she can see what the kids were doing in my class with me during literacy enrichment, right in here.
Is that after you archived it, or lessons that are still open, they're all in the folder?
You can assign a folder in activities. I'll show you what that looks like really quick. So if you're creating an activity, this is the simplest way to do it for you if you want to continue to use folders in that way, or you just tell the kids whatever you want. Okay, so here's this, and then when I'm in here, and let's say this is my template. Okay, I'm done with my activity, and now I'm ready to save it and then assign it. When I'm ready to assign an activity, it's going to give me 3 tabs at the top. So here I'm going to click assign, and I'm going to put it to my practice class. Oh, that's probably not a good one because there's not more than 1 student, but I'll do my old class. Okay, if you go here, see it's edit students, folders, and skills. When I click on this, now I can select. I only want this to go to my speech kids, which is Alexa, Carlos, and David. Then I can go to folders, and now I can select the speech folder and put it in there right now before I even assign the activity. And I can tag a skill for whatever it is that they're doing. So it's all can be done before you even send it out as a activity to students. And again, you can assign all to students. You can just assign it to the sample student if you're doing it as a example for yourself. But all 3 of those tabs are available for you to be able to assign it and to put it in a folder and to do a skill all in the same shot.
Okay, I get how that is very beneficial for speech. So Gary could find all my speech kids faster. I get that. Does it make it harder for me to like check things to see who finished things if they're all in folders? I guess that's the part I don't understand. Does it still appear in your journal the same way? Like when you hit to prove things, it doesn't matter if it's in a folder, it'll show the same way.
Yep, it doesn't matter. Folders just for you to help organize your student work. And if you really just wanted to see reading activities, if you really only wanted to see math activities, if you really wanted to see where it went. Now during remote learning, which was really smart for some people, is that they would make a folder for that day's work and label the folder that day. So they would label it May 15th. Then they knew on May 15th, all the work that was turned in on May 15th. They could click on it that way and see how that went. And don't forget, because we have Seesaw for Schools, you can schedule activities. So when you do that, you just click on the schedule button, it gives you the calendar, and then you can decide when you want that activity to push out. The other thing is that when you do assign activities, don't forget that the way that it's set up is that when you assign activities, this is the last activity she entered for the day. She created. It's not what the kids might be doing at the end of the day, because this comes up first for them. So if you have 4 activities, remember you want to do it in reverse order. You want to, do the activity that they're going to do last, enter it first, then the next one, then the next one, because you cannot move these around. You cannot change the order. Once they're in, and that's the way that it goes. So if you're saying page 1, you're going to do this activity, it's not going to be on page 1. It's going to be on page 2 possibly because of that. And it's not a big deal. You can still have kids scroll and find what they need. It's just all about organization and keeping kids on target so that they're getting exactly what they need.
Or sometimes I just offset the times when you're scheduling it. So, you know, like I have it go out at 8, 8:05, 8:10. That way, at least I know the one I want will show up first at 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Steph, still good? Because I'm going to move on to your morning message.
Okay, that would be good, because I think the district is not clear in sending mixed messages about, are we supposed to share schedules with parents, blah, 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 blah. So that would be a good one to show.
Okay, so the rage right now is a Bitmoji classroom. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with a Bitmoji classroom. What I'm finding is that teachers are making them so busy that kids are getting distracted by all the stuff in their room. So if you have a scoop chair in your Bitmoji classroom, they're clicking on it. The scoop chair isn't going to move and going to tie them to something. And so they just keep clicking on other things that may not move or do anything. So as long as you keep your Bitmoji simple and in a routine that students know exactly what to do. If they know every day you're going to put a new book on the bookshelf, that's great. Create a bookshelf and put a book on there. But when you put 27 books and only one of them has a link, that's going to be frustrating for them. And you're going to have kids that are going to start missing out work because your classroom might be a little too busy. So Stephanie took it down a notch and she kind of just created this bulletin board. This will be her morning message and kind of get kids going. So I'll show you how to do this, and everything can be made in Seesaw now. Before we used to have to do it in Google Slides and put it back in, but she's done this all within Seesaw. So here's what she did. She recorded her morning message, like, good morning, this is Monday. I'm so happy to see all of you. Don't forget to look at the Zoom meeting times. We're going to meet at 10 o'clock this morning. You know, the little hands on the 10, the big hands on the 12, like that whole thing she can record here. And this is the way she's going to start her day every day with students. Obviously, it can't be a live morning message because she has to record it to be able to put it into Seesaw, but she's still recording and letting students know that she's there first thing in the morning, and that's what they're going to do. Then up here, she created a little notebook paper that says Zoom meeting. So she'll put the time, and we're hoping that the district will let us start putting Zoom meeting links in there. Don't know that it's going to happen, but that would be really nice. We could put the link right there so kids wouldn't have to go out of Seesaw to be able to get back into Zoom. They could just click on here and then they would be able to get right to the Zoom meeting, which would be great. And then here is her today's schedule. So she's going to do this one way or the other. Either she's going to do this with reading and they click on reading, and this will be the link that will take them right to the reading activity. So it'll be over here. Then she could do math, she can do writing, she can do whatever she wants, or she could put pictures in here to make it simpler for the little learners. Like this would be the book. When they click on the book, they know they're going to do reading. When they click on the pencil, they know they're going to do writing, so on and so forth. But now everything is in one page. And then she left a little Post-it note for any kind of announcements that need to be made. Like, hey, don't forget today is, pick up your iPad at 12 o'clock today, or whatever it is. She can also put that here so that if parents are looking at this with their student, this is still a way that she can communicate with them. I'm going to show you really quickly kind of how she did this. And again, you guys can get as fancy as you want, or you can be as generic as you want. That's really your choice. I'm going to jump back into my demo class just so I don't make one in her.
And I was just going to say, while Sophie's doing that, my vision for this is more for like parents too, to see like all the assignments that they have for the day. Sorry, my daughter. I'm going to link then, like I have a template that's all my reading centers. So that will be linked there as an active, like to go into that activity, if that makes sense. So it's not going to be my ultimate homepage like Sophie was making before that she just showed you at the beginning. That would be then linked on that morning message, if I'm explaining myself correctly.
Yep. So all she did was she went to bulletin board, no background. She went to images and she found one that works great. Now, because we have that Seesaw extension, you can use it, or you can click on this and then download it that way. That's your choice. But this is how people are creating those Bitmoji classrooms, where you can just, it's going to ask me to drag from this side. and it's going to put it right in here. And now she can go ahead and she can add whatever she wants. So not only is there a Seesaw extension, but there's also a Bitmoji extension, which is awesome, because when you click on this and I click the word pose, it will only give me the Bitmojis without words. So where do I want to be standing? What do I want to be doing? So I'm gonna, oops, there we go. Copy image. I'm going to paste it, and then there's my Bitmoji right on the page. And then I'm going to continue to do this for everything that I want. So if I want a Post-it note clip art, I can do that too. I can find an image that I like. I can copy this and put it into my, I'm just doing it very sloppily so you could see what I'm talking about. Everything can be resized and put. Now she's going to lock these pieces in place because this is what's going to be there. And you see how it linked, because it tries to link everything you take from it. So don't forget to go back into this link and then just X out of it so that the Post-it note isn't linked to anything. And then lock it again. And now here she can do her announcements here and so on and so forth. So she just kept finding things that she wanted on her board, and then she's going to decide if the pages are going to be here, or like she was saying, that you click on it and it's going to take you to the activity for the day. I'm going to show you a really quick trick on how to remove some of that background stuff. It's called Remove BG, is the website that you want to use. Sorry, I have way too many tabs open. So if this is something that this is the one I want to do, I'll just put it here for right now. And then when I go to remove BG, I just drag the image in here. And what it does is it automatically takes out the background. When I download it, you'll see, here it is, without any of those little white squares or anything else, so that when I put this inside my classroom, I don't have to worry about all that extra stuff in there. So that's a quick tip on that fun program that you can do that in. So now I can go here, I can go to here, go to upload, and I can find that on my desktop. My desktop is a big mess right now. And see how it took the white part out? So I don't have to have that part in there anymore. And that's how these teachers are making everything look so pretty.
How do you get your Bitmoji, like from your phone, onto Seesaw?
So you have to get the extension, the Bitmoji extension. It's right here. So same way that I got the Seesaw one, go to Chrome Store, and then it will be Bitmoji, and then it will ask you if you've already created one. It'll have you log into your account, and then it will bring your Bitmoji right onto your computer screen up here.
Okay, very good, thanks.
And the best part about this Bitmoji extension is it only works on Chrome, but it's amazing. So if I wanted to put stickers on student work, I can customize a sticker to the student's name. So when I'm
read my mind. That was
so when I'm in Bitmoji, I can write good job, job. And you see these all start to come up. But if I wanted this go to Sophie, if I kept typing, it adds my name into the Bitmoji saying.
So cute.
So now you have a customized sticker for each student by just typing it in, clicking on this, and now putting it on their work. Yeah, I know that one's pretty mind-blowing. I loved finding that one out.
Yeah.
That was fun. And you can do that when you're leaving comments to students. You can put that in there and do it however you want. It's really your choice. But I wanted to show you, like, for an example, what this kind of looked like and how Stephanie was going to use it as her morning message. Because again, we're given the schedule of all these things that we need to do throughout the day, and it's overwhelming on how to get it all done. So think about Stephanie maybe recording her morning message the night before. She's able to get this going. It's the first thing that goes out to students. Now she can start her morning by focusing on what her live Zoom session is going to be, or her mini lesson, or whatever else. So it's a way to, like, kind of organize your work a little bit and give you some relief on maybe what that might look like, or, you know, be able to do. So I'm gonna get out of this just so that I can move on. Any questions, Steph, that I need to?
Yeah, could you go back to my Seesaw class and show my old template from the fall, like one of them that doesn't have any live links because that update doesn't come out till the 14th. So I think it's a little confusing, but you could see then on here how eventually I would make my schedule into live links. Right now they're just like a list. If you click sample student, you could get there faster because I always put them.
Yeah. So this is what
And
she
that
was
one's
talking about
a great
before.
example.
Before she wasn't able to put her face in here. We weren't able to put a video in here. So all she would do was, this is all kind of nailed down and there wasn't anything to it other than her recording over the whole page. So she would say, have what to do today, the date, any reminders, and then, you know, her picture, but it was a Bitmoji picture versus her real face, and they wouldn't be able to play the video. So this is what it used to look like with that new update. Now being able to embed her video into the actual board is pretty awesome, because we want our kids to continue to see our face throughout the day in any way that we can find a way to do it. So I agree with Stephanie. This really has changed the way that she's, you know, starting the morning every day with it. But that's what it used to look like versus now what she's able to do and have all those other links and things like that. Am I good?
Yes, I think so. How do you link daily activities? Oh no, yeah, that was it that you just kind of went over. And then someone was asking what is the easiest way to check their work? And I was just saying that I never approve anything until I've checked it. So then I've seen it.
Yeah, and to be honest with you guys, you know, if you're using this and you're sending out 6 activities a day times 20 students, you're looking at 120 pieces of work. So you really need to decide which are the things that you're really going to focus on and make sure that those are really great comments. But I will tell you what is happening with Seesaw is that when you start typing, anything that you've already typed shows up now. So you can just click on it. So instead of copying and pasting your same comment over and over again, it comes up and then you can go ahead and you can click on it and it's done and then post it. So it's really your choice. I'm not a huge fan of the like button because, you know, I do this whole digital citizenship thing on how like buttons don't tell students anything other than the fact that you like their work, but they have no idea what you liked about it and what they're doing well. So I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do get it when you want to show that you saw something. Like click on the like button to say, yep, I saw it. I know that that's what you did. And maybe it's just a video of the kid at home, you know, reading to his cat or something, and he wanted to share it with you. But I get why you would use it, just so that you know, yes, I've looked at this work. I just either don't have time or this isn't like the priority for me today to make sure that I leave you really effective feedback about it. So that I think is probably the way that I'm looking at it. I think I can't find my other activity that I was looking for. I did a,
Sophie?
yep.
Sorry. Could you show how you could filter for a student if you were looking through their work?
Yes. So if I was just looking for student number 10 who hasn't shown up for the past 2 days of school, but I wanted to see if they do anything, you can just click on the student number, student name right here, and it will show you all the work that they've done. And it's all dated. Remember, it's stamped on the date that they did it. So if they've missed 2 days and then they were able to go back and put it in there, they would be able to see that too. I think that's going to be the saving grace too for our kids that miss a day or two, instead of us worrying about either them catching up or whatever else. If our mini lesson is embedded in the activity, you don't have to reteach it to just that one student who is absent. That it's already available to them. The mini lesson is right here, and here's their activity that they're doing for the day. I did want to show you about giving feedback and how to use the video to reteach. So this isn't the best activity that I have, but I think I deleted the other one, but I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's just say that this is a piece of work. Let me see what I have in review. This is a piece of work that a student turned in, and maybe they didn't complete it. Yeah, this is the one. So maybe they didn't complete it the way that I wanted it to, and I don't want to approve it. I'm going to go to the 3 dots, and I'm going to go to edit item. So the directions were that they were to use their, pencil or their marker to mark each box and then use the record button to count to 20. Well, as you can see, there's no recording here. So the student either forgot or didn't want to and just put dots in here and didn't even count. So what I did is I just duplicated this page, this same template on page 2. So when I have the template here, now I can record over it, or I've done this. This is feedback and reteach. Number 1, listen to Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith is saying, well, I love that you put dots in each one of the box, but because you didn't record yourself, I don't know if you know how to count from 1 to 20. So I'd like you to redo it on this page. Watch the video below that shows our 1 to 20 count song and see if you can do it again. Don't forget to hit the record button where the arrow is to record your recording. Now they have me telling them exactly what to do. They can come down here, they can watch the YouTube video with the cute song that teaches them how to count to 20 if they need a reteach. And then they now know that this is the button they need to push to then record and write at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Now I've retaught, I've given them feedback, and now I have a new sample of their work. Now I didn't get rid of the first sample because I want to show that he needed a reteach moment to be able to get there, but that's what was done. So now I have the same piece of work just retaught and then redone by a student. So that's another way to give feedback, is your face right on the post. To say, hey, I loved your writing. I would love some more details. Tell me more about the dog. What kind of dog was it? What did the dog look like? Those are all things that, again, our students are going to need our face-to-face, and this is the way to do it. Keep sticking your face on their posts, on their pages. And for you, to be honest, so much quicker than you trying to type all of these comments and making sure that you're seeing every single thing. It's going to be a lot quicker for me to hit the video button and talk for 3 seconds and then have them have feedback right then and there. And then here I can send it back as a draft to the student so that they can go back in it. They'll see it. It'll say edit at the top, and they'll be able to get back into it and do what they needed to do. So see, this is what the students would see. Sees the draft. The students would get this button that says edit. They'd be able to go. And I also put it in the comments. It says check out page 2, because on the student side of this, and a lot of people don't use this, and that's fine. You can just have, a check at your end of the work day kind of thing. But when I put a comment here, they get a notification in their inbox that says Mrs. Smith has left a comment. So if you do teach students that to look in the inbox, they will see the notifications from a teacher either going in and changing something on their post, or the fact that they have something that's waiting for them, and then they should check it out. So this says check out page 2. They would go to page 2 and then move on. You also have the option to use all of the tools. So this is a domino addition page that looks like they did the first row and then they skipped the other 2. I just took the highlighter and circled the things. Please complete your work, put an arrow there. Again, I could add my face if I needed to send back their work and let them know that this is something that I'm looking at and that I want them to complete. Here's an idea for fluency. So once a week in my 2nd grade classroom, we would do a Fluency Friday. So they would practice their passage throughout the week, and then on Friday they would record themselves, and that would be their final kind of submission. So on this, what I did was the first page, I would now that we're digital, I would have to send them the passage, have them practice all week, and I didn't care what that post looked like. But then on Friday, when they actually recorded themselves, on the 2nd page, I would put the rubric or their self-reflection. So here's where, student number 10, the way he feels that his rate was good, his expression was okay, his accuracy was great, his punctuation, he's gonna work on expression. And then I added the 4 posters that I had in my classroom so that they could remember what these words meant and what they were supposed to be looking for. Not too fast, doesn't sound like a robot, that kind of thing. And then I could have a conference with them about their fluency and say, I definitely agree with you. I think that's exactly what you should work on. The way that you do that is expression, is think about this as a conversation. This is a whole conversation that can be based upon their reflection. And you could do a 3rd page where it's the teacher reflection if you wanted to disagree with them, however else you wanted to do it. So it's really your choice. My goal for the week is great conference for students to be able to do that. I just put different ones in there just so that you could see what it would look like to be able to do that. So students would just get this as a 1-page activity or a 1-page passage, I wouldn't add page 2 until it was Friday and they were ready to rate themselves. And then that's the part that they would turn in, is their recording on the first page and their reflection on the second page. And then I could possibly add a third page with my reflection, or this could be a mini conference that I have with them during my small group time. But
So, sorry, Sophie, so when you added the rubric on Friday, does that mean you have to create a new activity, or can you assign an activity you already sent out to the kids?
so here's the thing, you can do this as an activity. I found it simpler to just post it in student work because I had maybe 4 kids who was just on this level. So I just put it in there and kind of tagged them in it so that it would show up in their journal, and then they knew to go to the 3 dots and then edit item and be able to go in and, or copy and edit and then have their own thing. You could do that. If you do it as an activity, you have to put the rubric in, because I don't think that it updates once it's assigned to students for you to be able to put the rubric in on Friday. So the activity could be page 1 and page 2. When you are checking it, when you're in the review, you would go to the 3 dots, edit item, and you would add a 3rd page with teacher reflection or teacher feedback.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Make your, this is all about making your life easier. Seesaw is not supposed to be one more thing on your plate. This is supposed to take things off of your plate, make your kids more independent, but still give you the quality that you still need to do in the amount of time that you need to get it done in. I also did this with sight words, because that was the bane of my existence, was I could not stand that I had to sit there for 20 kids and listen to sight words for, 45 minutes. I would, send them the sight words and say, hit the record button. And then when I was home enjoying myself having a drink, I would then check all of their sight words. And at the bottom in the comments, I could say, move on to your next list, or let's try this list again. So it became not so much pressure for me to get through it during, the 9 to 3:30 day. And I could be like, okay, this is something that I can do later on. It's just listening to students read words, and then, have those little mini conferences all within my comments spot.
Sophie, a question with your fluency.
Yeah.
Someone was saying, do you need to send it out every day, or once you send it, can they see it? And the answer is they could see it, but I feel like our kids starting out now might not know how to copy and edit it so that they could do the same one daily.
Yeah, again, it's really about training. And obviously, I'm not going to start fluency the first week, maybe even the first month of school, maybe the first 2 months. Who knows what this is going to look like? I probably would work them up to it. And that could be some of my mini lessons in my live Zoom is, hey, this is something we're going to try in the next few weeks. Let's see how it goes. And I can say, when you see this from Mrs. Smith, and it's only going to come on Fridays, or it's only going to come on Mondays and then on Fridays, this is what you need to do. So it's really going to be about your kids and what you want them to do. If you want it to be a cold read, then just send it on the day that you want the cold read. And if you don't want them to practice it, or you don't want them to have a post every single day with it, then just make it on a Friday thing, and then put it in there and put the rubric in there and be done, and let it be a Friday thing. It's really your choice and what you think your kids can handle. You can do it as an activity too and send it out, Monday and then again on Friday. Then they'll just get used to the fact that, yeah, I'm not redoing something. This is the one where I have to actually record myself on, because they know that it's Friday. All right, the only other thing I had on my list to talk to you guys about really quickly, and I know we only have about 5 minutes, is the blog. So this was huge when it came to remote learning, was that everybody said, if we have students can't see each other's work, then how do we allow them to have any kind of collaboration or communication with each other? So there's 2 ways to do that. You can go into an activity and you can modify the people that are in it. So let's just say this is an activity that number 1 and number 10 worked on, but number 1 responded separately from number 10, which is fine. I can go into the 3 dots and I can edit people. So if I wanted to add number 11 was also in on this post, I can tag multiple students. Or I only want this to go to my red reading students. I want them to see a good example of what Johnny did, so that the other students can see what that looks like. I can tag them, and when I do that, those 3 students, now if I go into number 11's journal, he's going to be able to see a copy of that, and then they can comment back and forth to each other. So that's the quick, simple way if you just want that kind of communication. The other part is the blog. So the blog is really simple, and I'm going to refer you to help.seesaw.me and just type in, how do I set up my blog? It literally is 32 seconds to do it. You click, you go into the wrench. There's an option where you can go into blog. You can set it. You can have students can post to blog, which is fine, but they all come through you. You have to approve it. Blog settings, blog appearance. You can, in blog settings, you can decide if you want password protected. So you can make a password here if you'd like, enable comments, and then show folders, which really doesn't matter if they see folders or not, but you can put that in there too. So how this is done is, let's say that this is a post that a student, is talking about what they want to be doing or whatever else. You can say, hey, Johnny, this is a really great post and a really great example of you labeling. Can I share this with everybody? And he says, sure, go for it. You just click on the blog button, and it's going to give you the option to publish to blog. Now, because I'm the teacher, it's not going to say, do you approve this post? It automatically sends it to the blog. So this is what the blog looks like when it's in play. So that item came into the blog here, and the only option parents, students, anybody who has this URL to be able to get into the blog can comment. And all comments, doesn't matter if you turn that on or off, whatever else, all comments are approved by the teacher. So even if some random person happened to get this URL and said things that were inappropriate or whatever else, all of those comments could be deleted before anybody would see it, because the teacher would be approving all comments. Parents cannot get to the blog through the family app. They have to use the URL, which is right here. And this is what you would share. And then you would share the password if you want to password protect it. When I do my classrooms across the world and I connect with classrooms from all over the place, this becomes the private URL that nobody else gets except for the classrooms that are participating in it. I do recommend that if you're going to use the blog and you're not going to password protect it, or you're going to make it just so that those families have it, that you don't show student faces. It's more about student work. Show all the student work you want, but once it gets to faces, it's just my opinion that our kids don't need to be, their faces don't need to be out there attached to Orchard Place School, second grade, and give them more information than they need to have. So for me, that's the way that I worked it. Send this to parents, send it to grandparents, send it to aunts and uncles, and say, maybe I don't want you connected to my kid's journal, but here you can see what my kid's class is doing on the blog, and then they have the ability to comment right here. So that was the way that a lot of teachers used it in the spring, was that they still wanted their kids to be able to communicate with each other, and this is how they ended up using the blog feature to do that.
So Sophie, a lot of my kids did read-alogs that I posted to the blog, but of course it was a video and I could see them. If you do the password protection, then is it okay to put it to the blog? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and again, you don't have to share this. You don't have to share this with anybody. The password protection just makes everybody feel better, like my kid's face is not out on the internet, and I didn't really give you permission for that. So it's your choice. I'm not saying don't show kids' faces. I'm just saying if you decide to show kids' faces, then make sure you're just taking the steps to be, secure about it, and that we're making sure that parents are aware of it. That's the thing. When I would start the blog, I would say to parents, we're starting a blog because we're connecting with classrooms from around the world. I'm not sharing faces, but I will be sharing their work. And that's it. Also on the blog, I forgot to tell you that only first names will show up. So even if you have your kid listed as Jimmy Smith, only Jimmy would show when they're in the blog. It's just a safety precaution too, where it just cuts out the last name and just has a first name on there. Any other questions? I know I shared so much. Don't feel overwhelmed. Remember, this is recorded. You could go back and you can look at it 152 million more times. If you feel like there's something that I didn't cover, tomorrow is the expert group. That's going to be more of a question and answer kind of thing, something that maybe they're struggling on. Like I said,
isn't that the next one?
Yeah,
at 10 o'clock?
11. It's at 11. David is going to post all of the links for this video, for the one that was before this, for people who are feeling a little bit nervous even about just making an activity. So hopefully these videos will help you guys. If you have questions, please email me. And if I don't answer, email me again, because it's been a little crazy lately, but I promise I will do my best to get back to you. If this is something that you really want more training on, we need to let our principals know, because this was not part of any of our PD days. And I think it's really important that teachers feel comfortable with the technology, especially if we're gonna depend on it so much. So make sure that that's something that you bring up and say, you know, it'd be nice to have some more training on this, or whatever else it would be.
Sophie, it's in the chat over there, but could you share like your tag resources to the to David to put in the Google Classroom? People were asking about that.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll probably, if you did not register, but you know somebody who's on here right now, it's gonna be like a mass email to everybody who registered. Here's the recording, here's the resources. But I'm also sending them to David, hopefully either by the end of today or Monday, depending on how my day plays out. But all of that stuff will be somewhere for everybody to be able to see it. Any other questions? All right, everybody, enjoy your beautiful sunny morning, and good luck. We all have the same issues, so believe me, we're all in this together.
Thank you.
You're welcome.